Hatun Tash's victory, Christian preacher triumphs over Allahu Akbar mob. Hatun Tash, a controversial Christian preacher and ex Muslim, has won a £10,000 settlement from London's Metropolitan Police after being unlawfully arrested and detained in Speaker's Corner in June of 2022. Tosh, known for her public criticism of Islam and large YouTube following, was preparing to speak when a copy of the Quran with holes in it, which she often uses as a visual aid, was stolen. When her Christian friends called the police to report the theft, officers instead tried to remove Tosh from the growing crowd. Upon her refusal to move, she was forcibly frog marched into police vans and arrested for criminal damage while wearing a Charlie Hebdo t shirt depicting the Prophet Muhammad. At Charing Cross Police Station, Tosh was strip searched, had her glasses removed, and was deprived of sleep and then interrogated at 4 a.m. She was held for 15 hours before being released without charge and received no assistance in retrieving her stolen belongings that were left at Speaker's Corner. This incident underscores ongoing tensions surrounding freedom of speech and religious criticism in the UK. Tosh, who has faced previous arrests and even assassination attempts, condemned what she perceives as biased policing, stating, quote, "I have been dealing with two-tiered policing for years. Muslim mobs at Speaker's Corner are above the law and have been allowed by the police to do what they like to silence debate, increasingly by any means." Um, so I wanted to highlight this story because Hatun Tash, like, I don't know why she's not more widely recognized for being the absolute badass that she is. Like, I have so much respect for what she's been through and how she continues to keep going. For okay, let me give a little background for those who are not aware. So, Hatun Tash is from Turkey. She lives in the UK. She was a Muslim. She became a Christian and spends a lot of her ministry criticizing Islam and encouraging Muslims to become Christian. And she does a lot of preaching or actions that some people might find controversial. You know, here at Atheist Republic, we're fully on board. But one of her famous things was that she had a Quran that had holes literally drilled into it. And this is a symbol of a debate that was going on, especially around the time in 2022, also known as the narrative has holes in it scandal, which is basically referring to there was some messages that were linked between very well-renowned Islamic scholars about how they were admitting that the narrative of the miracle of the perfection and uncorruption of the Quran, that narrative has holes in it. This is important because the perfection and preservation of the Quran is seen as one of the miracles that is supposed to be one of the things that moves you to become Muslim, right? And but the thing is, we have historical evidence that it is not perfectly preserved. Um that that's not true. But this is not widely talked about. Um it's not talked about in Muslim circles very much. It's kind of hush hush, like open secret among some scholars. Um so anyways, this became known as like the standard narrative has holes in it. And so she had this Quran where she would take that had holes drilled into it. She would do other things like she had I think 27 Qurans and the to make it holy Sarah, silly. Um and to show that I have these 27 different Qurans and there's differences in them. Like this narrative is flawed, trying to undermine some of the dawah used by Islamic preachers, trying to undermine some of their dogma, their deceptive teachings, etc. And Hatun Tash has been assaulted numerous times over the years. There was an instance that happened a few years ago where she was stabbed in the face, and the person who did that armed assault on her, by the way, has never been caught. I don't know if you know that.
Really?
Never been
I
caught.
didn't know that. I did not know that.
There were rumors that he fled the country, but
Wow.
the stabber was actually never caught. Then there was an assassination attempt on her life where there was a guy named Edward Little who was recently sentenced to 24 years to life in the UK, who ironically was a convert to Islam who went out of his way to try to procure a gun so that he could shoot her, probably in public in the middle of Speaker's Corner. And this is what drives me crazy as a side note about like Islamic convert violence is that like you asshole, you were allowed to convert and apostatize with complete freedom. Like you were allowed the freedom to change your mind and adopt a different faith or ideology that you felt was a better fit for you that you believed to be true. Like how dare you fucking hypocritical asshole inflict violence upon people who also do the same thing. Although I understand within their freaking jihadi ass mindset, that's not how things work. But yeah, converts are nuttier. And I think I look, my theory is that reverts in Islamic communities are oftentimes treated kind of with a bit of suspicion. Like, and this is not me saying this. You can go watch so many videos by reverts about their struggles integrating into the Muslim community, how they have a hard time dating, how they're not treated the same, all this stuff. And so sometimes I feel like they maybe feel like they have to compensate for the fact that they didn't grow up Muslim, they didn't grow up in the community. Maybe they have tattoos from before they were, they became a Muslim. Like they have to do all this compensation. And I think sometimes it creates this like psychological need to be more extreme. This is all pure speculation. Um, but anyways, so Hatun like has had her life upended because of these threats against her. We covered a story a few months ago about how she kind of dropped off the radar for a few months and people were really worried for her. There was literally a campaign like, "Where is Hatun? Like, why has she just kind of dropped off?" And she explained that she needed to take a step back. Like, it's I don't know if people understand the depth of the psychological like worry and stress that being under this kind of threat brings to you. And for example, when Salman Rushdie was attacked in 2022, that sent shockwaves through the community because it showed people who maybe had gotten to a place where they had experienced some threat, but kind of they're like, okay, we're reaching an equilibrium, like things are better now. It communicated to every single one of those individuals that no, 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 this threat can come back into your sphere, come for your life decades later, decades of your life later. And that was extremely mentally destabilizing to a lot of people. But meanwhile, this freaking badass woman, like she's still at it. She's still going at it. I honestly can't say if I would do the same thing. Like it's insane. I mean, the
Do you,
courage is otherworldly.
do you
You
think
met her,
she's a
right,
bit?
Armin?
Yeah, I was debating her on Christianity on Speaker's Corner, and we disagreed on Christianity, but it was a very calm and peaceful and respectful disagreement that we were having about the Bible. Me as an atheist, she as a Christian. It was very civil. I recorded that debate. It was interesting. Um, do you think she's too brave? I think she might be a little bit too brave. I mean, she goes back to the place where people stabbed her, and she is there with no protection. I mean, do you think some level of self preservation is required here? Like, I don't know. Do you guys think there's such a thing as too much bravery here?
I mean,
Maybe.
look, I of course encourage everyone to protect themselves as they are allowed to under the fullness of the law.
Mm.
Any and all means to defend yourself, I'm in favor of. So I don't know what that looks like in the United Kingdom. Like, it as an American, it blew my mind when I was, like, going to Europe that I couldn't bring, like, pepper spray, I couldn't bring tasers, I couldn't bring those things to scratch out people's eyes, like, I'm like, "How am I those are illegal here? Like, what am I supposed to do?" So, I don't know what's allowed in the UK, um, because I got the First Amendment excuse me, the Second Amendment. I'm kidding, but, um, yeah, I don't know, sometimes when your conviction is so strong, you know,
Mm.
it you feel compelled to still continue. Um, and so what happened here? Let's kind of refresh on what this actual event was. So in 2022, she went out and she had one of these visual aids that she uses. And so basically someone came and snatched it from her and tried to steal it from her or did steal it from her. And then so they called the police. They were trying to file a report. And when the police came, they were like, I they were trying to move her away. And she's like, "No, I am here to preach. Like, it is within my rights to preach. Like, I'm not moving here. Like, they are the problem. This mob that has now formed around us, screaming Allahu Akbar at me. Like, they're the problem. I'm here to preach." Anyway, when she refused to move, they then arrested her, all this stuff. And then that's kind of where the fact of the case came down. So then that's what
Yeah.
she won the $10,000 for is settlement with
Right.
the UK police for violating her rights under, the European
Mm.
Charter of Human Rights. And, she won $10,000. This is the second time that she's won a settlement against them. And as if this woman wasn't, like, I don't know, hero enough, I read that she took that $10,000 and they don't say where, but she donated it to an organization that helps persecuted ex-Muslims. Like,
Oh,
my heart. Oh my god. Yeah.
wait. So hold on. Let me actually show you something. They can't. So a lot of people might think we are hypocrites now because she basically disobeyed the cops, right? But here's the thing: the cops cannot, do not have the right to tell you to move from a location. If you are being arrested, then you should not be resisting arrest. But if a cop tells you that you should move from away from here to another location, you have every right. It's actually not within the right to tell you to move, to control you. Like, they don't. You have freedom of mobility. You can be where you want to be. So if a cop is telling you to move somewhere and you don't want to move, just ask this question: am I being arrested? Am I under arrest? And if they say no, you're not being arrested, I'm just telling you to move, then it is your legal right to say, nope, I do not have to move. You don't have the authority to tell me to move. That is actually, well, actually, guys, I don't, I'm not a legal expert. I looked this up. My interpretation could be wrong. Look it up yourself. Talk to a legal expert. This is my understanding only, right? So go make sure you do your legal research yourself. But again, when the time that you are forced legally to listen to cops is if you are being arrested. For you are not allowed to resist arrest. You should comply when they are arresting you. And if they resist, if the arrest is unlawful, there's another time you should be fighting it. You shouldn't be fighting it at the time that the arrest is being made. You should let them arrest you, and then you could legally fight them later for their wrongful arrest. I know this because I had to deal with this in London myself. Well, I'm not going to play the audio, but this was when we were protesting in front of uh, the Islamic Republic of Iran's embassy in London for Sahel Arabi, right? This cop lady came to me and told us that we need to move to the other side, and I basically explained to her that nope, we're going to stay on this side. We're going to stay right next to the embassy, and that's our legal right. And I told her that that's actually I told so here, like you see on the screen, it says question asked one time, two times, three times, because three times I asked her, is it are we legally? I asked her specifically, is it illegal when you're asking me to move to the other side? Oh, she asked for my name. I didn't give her my name. I said I'm not legally required to give you my name. I can refuse to give you my name. And I asked her, when you tell us to go to the other side, are we legally obligated to listen to you? She wouldn't answer that. And because the answer is no, if the police ask you to move to the other side, legally you're not obligated to listen to them. The only time you're legally obligated to listen to them is that if they say you're under arrest and you're like, okay, now I'm not resisting any arrest. I'm gonna let you arrest me. But yeah, legally I'm allowed to protest on this side of the street. So just know that. By the way, this video is on Alex O'Connor's video channel. So if you're gonna go, if you want to go watch it, you can. Let me go find the title. Yeah, the title is "Arrested." No, wait, is that? Yes, arrested for offending Islam on Alex O'Connor's channel. So go watch that. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Everything is different in other countries. Like in the United States, there are instances where you have to follow a lawful order that is short of being arrested or detained. You know. Um. Yeah. So guys, be careful out there. But yeah, we do not support resisting arrest here. It's not a
no,
good
do not
idea.
resist arrest.
Don't do it. It's bad.
Don't do it.
But I can completely understand the frustration if you call the police because you're the victim of a crime and they deem you to be the problem ostensibly because you're offending Islam, and then they arrest you. I'd be furious. Um and yeah, the and this is the thing about, the whole idea of two-tier policing that's caught on in the UK recently, especially under Keir Starmer. Like, this is not a new thing. This incident happened in 2022. That problem has been going on in the UK for a long time. Um, and then there's like journalists and articles that come out like, where did the myth of two-tier policing catch on so quick? I'm like, the myth? What are you talking about? I can see it unfold with my own eyes for years. Like, it's crazy.
Right. Oh, another recommendation may I add? Make sure as soon as you have any interaction with the cops that you start recording. You have to start recording everything. One, two, make sure that you keep asking the cops every time they ask you to do something. If you don't want to do it, ask the question: am I legally obligated to do this? Like, is this a law? Like, am I like make sure that you record them answering you, because if they pretend something is legally required when it's not, then you have caught them lying to you, misrepresenting the law, right? And also make sure you have access to the internet so you could keep checking the law on what is legally required, and you keep showing them that, like, listen, look, I don't have to actually do what you're telling me to do. This is not like yeah. Anyways, um
Um,
all right, let's answer some stuff in the chat.
yeah. But I think the most important takeaway is like, if you think that in something in your arrest was not legally correct, the time to deal with that is when you get lawyers
Right.
afterwards. Like, let's be clear.
Yeah,
Like,
that's when the
your
arrest.
your phone is not a lawyer. The cops are not lawyers. They often don't know the law to the
Right.
fullest extent. Like, I would rather get
But that's
arrested,
only when they
fight them
but
afterwards.
that's only Yes, but that's only because there's a very difference between when the police tells you to do something, move around. Those are have nothing to do with arrest. You have rights to not obey the cops. Maybe again, check this with a lawyer or whatever, right? But when they say actually communicate with you that now you're under arrest, now it's a completely different game. Uh, if they and they have to announce it, like they can't just like not announce it. They have to be announce to you that you're now being arrested. Then do not argue, do not resist, just fight it in the court. Yeah. Anyways, let's go with the chat. But anyways,
Mhm.
a good see. This is what Hatun did as well, right? So all of this was unlawful, and she managed to get 10,000, 10,000 pounds, from all of it. Yeah, how many dollars is that?
I don't know. Over 10K.
Over 10K.
Oh, come on. Almost
Third,
$14,000.
no,
More like
13.
yeah, 13.
Closer to 13.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's go through the
That's pretty
live
good.
chat. Um, okay, so oh wait, I think we already went through these. The people that just became YouTube members, right? And Amit.
No, no, not this. Not the second one. Amit. Amit. I didn't read Amit. Amit became
Oh,
a.
Amit. Well, welcome to Satan's Minions. Thank you for becoming a member. Um, oh, there's a lot of praise for Hatun in the chat. Hi is saying she's so brave. Metaphysical officers, why would you call them rebirths when they're actually converts? Um,
You know, Roy
well,
says that we should call atheists reverts,
that's
right?
funny.
Muslims are Yeah, Roy was telling me that Muslims are not reverts; they're converts. Everybody is not born a Muslim. Everyone is born an atheist. So technically, reverts are people who used to have a religion and now they're atheists. So everyone,
Yeah,
yeah. So reverse, the true reverse are atheists.
yeah.
So
Also, the term they use is revert, so it's no big deal. And
yeah, we
I
just
don't know if maybe you're asking this question because you don't know. Like, they believe that everyone's born Muslim.
no. He's saying he knows, but he's saying why would you give them that? Like that's fucking bullshit. Call them converse as they are.
Because
I mean, I agree with him. No,
I
I
don't
think
care
they
that
should.
much. Because I don't think about that too deeply. That's why. Oh, that's different.
Wait, this is funny.
Mm,
Wait, this is funny. Oh no, go. I will start this one. Sarah's a comedian today. Okay.
oh, Mamali Reza is celebrating my Zanzandegi Azadi background. That's cute.
Yeah, I just.
Um, Sarah's saying no. All newborn infants are devout Scientologists. Actually, oh my gosh.
That's good. That's good.
Um, GJ gave a super chat saying holes already when the prophet died had a high level Muslim Sheikh Mufti Mullah was aware that the Quran pages were eaten by a goat and a whole chapter were lost in the Battle of Yamama because 70
70 of
memorizers
the people.
died.
So so GJ is referring to some verses of the Quran were lost according to Islamic Sunnah itself because a goat ate so those verses, and that includes verses that requires you to stone women for adultery that was eaten by a goat, and this is according to Muslims themselves, like according to Islamic tradition itself, right? And also the milking verses, you know how you adult milking, sucking women's tits for milk so that you could become a family member, adult milking, right? So those are the verses that were eaten by a goat. However, there are some traces of them still left in the hadith. And yeah, a whole chapter of the Quran was forgotten because 70 of the people who memorized the Quran died in a battle. However, these are not the holes in the narrative because Muslims would, like the Islamic scholarship believes that these were divine intervention that they were meant to be, like the goat was sent by God,
Obviously,
obviously.
the goat was
Right,
an agent
so
of Allah.
right. I mean, this actually shows it's a miracle. This actually makes the Quran even a bigger miracle, where the Quran sends you a temporary verse and then removes it with the goat. Right. So this is the hikmah of Allah. I mean, we have a verse in the Quran that God says that don't you think Allah that can do anything? Do you not think that we could give you a commandment and then take it back ourselves? Obviously, we can. And this was Quran's reaction to people noticing contradictions in the Quran. So obviously, these are not holes in the narrative. The actual holes in the narrative is that there's evidence that the Quran has never been preserved ever in the history of its existence. In fact, it was constantly changing throughout this time. Right, guys? Should I do a stream on the milk? Like I did it. I already did a stream on this a long time ago. I think I should bring it back. Milking, adult milking, feeding. What is it like?
Adult
Yeah,
breastfeeding,
adult. Oh,
adult
oh yes,
nursing,
adult breast. I keep saying adult
nursing.
milking. That's something. Yes, adult breastfeeding. Adult breastfeeding in Islam. It's actually very serious. It's a very serious topic.
It literally
Ulama,
is. It literally
yes,
is.
adult. Yes, adult breastfeeding in Islam. I should do an entire stream on that.
It
Somebody's trying
it
to say, I don't
prevents
know.
countries, we covered in recently in Pakistan, like, they shut down the country's first breast milk bank, which literally saves
Mhm.
the lives and help nurtures premature babies from the brink of death, like, they shut it down because of the mental issues with milk kinship.
Yeah, people are
Oh,
saying
and don't
no. People are
and,
disgusted.
guys, don't forget that it's very, very important that non-Muslim babies never receive the milk from a Muslim woman. Never forget that.
Mhm.
Literally why they shut it down in Pakistan. You can't make this stuff up.
Basic. Okay, so this is going to get us demonetized, but the reason why milk banks are shut down is to avoid motherfucking. That's basically it, right? Because if you drink someone else's milk, they will become your mother, and you might end up marrying them, and then you end up fucking your mother. And Islam is very much
Or
against
your
that.
sisters.
So there, yes, so sister fucking and mother fucking is the reason why Islamically they have to shut down milk banks, is to avoid potential mother fucking or sister fucking. Yes. Right. No, so no, yeah, the milk, the suckling verses in the Quran are not there anymore, but they have still been preserved in the hadiths, which makes it, I don't understand how is that the miracle anymore. So if you wanted to remove them, why is it still preserved in the Sunnah? Like, so how is that the miracle? So why is it like, what did the goat? Why did Allah send the goat? I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense. It's religion.
And the most iconic thing is when an Egyptian scholar decided that the way to get around, talk about an HR policy. The way to get around workplace harassment and inappropriate relationships in the workplace, breastfeed your male coworkers.
Yes, yes,
Fixed.
yes.
Fixed. Fixed
Aisha,
everything.
yes, we had a fatwa in Egypt. One of the scholars said, like, in workplaces, men have to be breastfed by their female coworkers so that they could work with each other. That was an illegit fatwa that was issued by one of the Al
So I
Zahra
just had a
University
mental
scholars.
image. It's like, okay, we would love to have you join this company. You got the job, you're hired. We're so excited to have you. Now whip out that titty. Okay, boys, line them up down the hallway. Let's keep this like what?
Well, Aisha did exactly that. Aisha never had a child herself. After Muhammad died, she was like raising an army to go to fight, and she wanted to speak to these generals that were men, and she couldn't speak to them because they were men, and she was a woman, and she didn't have any milk herself because she never got pregnant. So she got her sister. She treated her own sister who was had milk like a freaking cow. She was milking her sister to go around give it to these men so that they could become family, because if they became sons of her sister, then
They'd be
she would be
nephews.
their auntie. Yeah, she would be their auntie, and then now she could go talk to them. So she was basically chasing her own sisters for milk to give to these men so that she could actually speak to them regarding war plans. And the main
Yeah.
debate, which I will show you on the stream, is that the scholarly disagreement between Muslims is whether when you drink that milk, it's required for your lips to touch
Yes.
the nipples, or is it okay if you drink from a cup? Like, can she put the milk in a cup and you drink it, or because the hadith says suckling, and many ulama, the Islamic scholars, they say suckling means that you have to suck it from the tit. And but some
Mhm.
other scholars say, well, how
How
could you
can you
suck it
do
from the
that
tit?
when it's haram to
How,
you before you suckle?
yeah, because she's still haram to you before you suck it, and now your lips have to touch her nipple, and before she becomes a mahram to you, before she becomes so it
It's
is
a
the
riddle.
like, people like, this is a huge riddle. This is a huge riddle. And again, Sheikh Albani came up with a solution by saying that the nipple itself is not a source of attraction, is because it's black, and black skin cannot be attractive. And that's the solution. So it's like, don't worry, you could suck the nipple, you have to suck the nipple, cannot be from a cup, and it's okay because it's the body of the woman that is source of sin, but the nipple can never be considered attractive because it's black. So it's okay if your lips just touch the nipple and nothing else. That's what there's. Again, I will do a stream on this. I should do a stream.
Yeah. I imagine just like
Yeah.
a sheet with like nipples cut out of it.
Yes, yes. Because if you, based on Albani's arguments,
Sorry, I just
if you see
imagined
the
it.
boob, you have to make sure that you cut the only the nipple, because you shouldn't be seeing the. And you also, when you're sucking on it, you have to make sure that you don't press hard enough for you to feel the boob, because that could be attractive.
Oh
So
yeah, no,
this is a
you
very delicate.
cannot feel
Yes.
the tit flesh on your cheeks. That's too much.
Yes. Oh God, this is fantastic.
Oh
Islam. Oh God, Islam.
no, my
What a
nipples aren't
religion.
black. Well, okay, people might not be aware that when you're pregnant, like your nipples get dark. So that's part of it.
Oh, so wow, the wisdom of Islam.
Mhm.
That's amazing, because they're like, hey, what about pink nipples? Like, nope, nope. Oh, see, Islam has figured all of this out.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. If
Wow.
someone just entered the stream right now. I'm dead. I'm dead. Okay. 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 You know what? We need to get on track. We need to get on track. How did we get here? Um
There we go.
GJ is saying I would say that people are born unbelievers, not atheists.
Atheist means a lack of belief in God. So unbeliever, if unbelievers means a lack of belief in God, that would make it an atheist. So that means people are born atheists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bar Mustel is saying yummy.
Oh, see, Bara's appreciating. I know Johnny in the live chat is not appreciating what we're saying,
You know,
but
I ain't
yes,
gonna I'm
God.
gonna if that's your thing, that's your thing. That's okay.
Mm.
Um Musa is asking me a question. Susanna, what is the name of the Persian rapper, the more hardcore dude who raps from the perspective of Khomeini? I don't know about rapping from the perspective of Khomeini, but I think you're talking about Shapur
Mm.
or maybe Bahram. I don't know. Probably Shapur. Anyways, um okay, so let's go to the next news.
Clap worthy.
Okay, so someone did die, but we are going to
No.
clap because we are, people got caught. They're in jail. And now they're
Mm.
investigating the whole situation to make sure to try to avoid stuff like this happening again.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do. And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.